Hi, everyone, and thanks for tuning into the Dramatic Knits podcast. My name is Steve, and I'm known as Dramatic Knits on Ravelry and Leading Men Fiber Arts on Instagram. If you're a returning viewer, thanks for coming back for this episode, and if you're new, I hope you enjoy what you see and you come back in the future as well as check out past episodes. As always, you can find the episodes on YouTube, Ravelry, and the blog, which is dramaticknits.com. So it's been about 3 weeks since I've checked in with you all, and I have some finished objects to show you, some works in progress, as well as just a bit of stash enhancement and some giveaways and things to talk about for the shop, which, if you're new, my partner and I own a yarn store called Leading Men Fiber Arts, where we showcase our hand-dyed yarns, as well as a variety of craft kits, tools, notions, and gifts. So yeah, things have been busy but slowing down here as we're moving into the holidays. We'll be celebrating this week and next week with Christmas and New Year's. But whatever you celebrate, I hope you're having a great holiday season as we're rolling into it, and that you come out unscathed, unhectified, and cheerful and in the season. So I've spent the day working, dyeing yarn, and dealing with a multitude of administrative work, and I am here to chit-chat with you all before I relax for the evening. So I hope you all have been great. The last 3 weeks, Andy and myself have been to Kansas City for a trunk show, as well as Indianapolis. Both were really good experiences and great to check in with those stores. So those were a lot of fun, and just kind of making sure that things are running smoothly at the store and day-to-day things. Other than that, Andy's mom came to visit us for several days last weekend into the beginning of this week, and so it was good to catch up with her and see her, as we probably will not see her till after the holidays. And yeah, nothing really else new to report. Other than that, we're getting excited. Andy and I are going to Mexico in a couple of weeks. We're going with his brother and sister-in-law, and we're going to Los Cabos. It'll be our first time there, but the resort that we love in Cancun that we went to in May has the same resort, just at another location in Los Cabos, and they gave us an excellent deal when we left Cancun to come back, and so we decided to take advantage of said deal, and we'll be going here shortly into the new year, and so we're excited about that. Bought myself a linen outfit on Amazon. Let's hope it looks all right and fits, but I've always wanted one. Every time we're down, in Mexico, it's nice to have a breathable fabric, but yet not always be just in shorts and a button down, so kind of be a little dressier for dinners, but still laid back. So anyway, you can tell I have not been talking much today because we're only 3.5 minutes in and my voice is already hoarse. But anyway, yeah, let's just get right into it, shall we? What is taking a bow this episode? So I do have a finished object. I finished my mini drama shawl by Jennifer Parasini, and this was designed in 2 sizes, a scarf, which is a smaller version, which can be done with mini skeins and a full skein, as well as a shawl, large shawl version, which was designed out of our yarn, Leading Men Fiber Arts, using half skeins. So you could use 5 half skeins and then a full skein and a half for the main color. So we're showcasing her original out of our yarn in the store, and I decided we were doing this as a knit along at our store, so I decided to do the scarf size out of a new to me yarn that we carry, which is Kremke Soul Wool Reborn Denim, which is a recycled denim cotton yarn, and it comes from recycled denim, and it's a really cool eco-friendly yarn. So I had been knitting it, and I used these colors. Here it is, all finished. Now, I will say the cotton did stiffen up after I blocked it, and because of the linen stitch texture on there. It kind of really did lock it in there. So I think it'll soften up with use, but it is a little bit stiffer than I would have liked, but it'd be really good, especially for like a summer tee or a summer accessory. And it still is a nice shawl. So my main color here is the nature colorway, and then I have sand, light orange, salmon, sage, and light blue at the bottom. And I did the scarf size version. It took one ball of every of the contrasting colors and then 2 balls of the nature. And yeah, it makes a nice little kerchief, but as you can see, it is a little stiffer than I was anticipating, but it still would be a nice little summer beach accent, and I really like the colors that I chose. So this will be up showcased in our store here in just a little bit. I got to get a finished object photo from my team. They take all my pictures for me anymore because I'm spoiled, and then it'll be up in the shop. So this was knit using a size 6 US, which is a 4mm needle. So yeah, I was happy to get to knit along with our group and try out this yarn and know some of the pros and cons of it. But yeah, if you're looking for an eco-friendly yarn that's a cotton, this is a fingering weight. Highly recommend this. We also carry Reborn Wool, which is an Aran weight recycled wool yarn rather than cotton. So yeah, that's what I finished in the last 3 weeks. But I am close on some other things, so let me show you those. First up, my crocheted blanket. I'm not going to show you because I only put on a couple of rows and it's really not much to show you. So let's talk about my yesteryear socks. I'm knitting these using a club shipment that I was in with Freckled Whimsy using her Serendipity base in the yesteryear colorway. This is the first sock completely done, and it came with the self-striping skein of yarn and then a 20-gram mini in this navy blue. And so I finished the first sock. These were for Andy, and I am ready to put in the heel on the second sock. So I worked on these the other night. I got the toe done, picked up around my waist yarn, and then took out my waist yarn. So all I have to do is join my contrasting color and do my afterthought heel, which is essentially my rounded toe, except I do 4 plain rounds before I start decreasing. And yes, in case you're wondering, I do pick up 2 stitches in the corners to help alleviate any gaps that I might get in my heel. But I knit mine on 2 circs using a size 1 US, which is a 2.25mm needle, and really enjoying those. So those will be done here soon next time that we see one another. And then next up, I have a project on hold because I ran out of yarn, and I should have known by the project notes of many people they use more than 1 skein, even though the pattern says you only need 1 skein. It's a lie, lie, lie. I am doing the AF201 triangle shawl, which is also known as the Susan Joy shawl. And I'm using some Fiber Nymph Dye Works in her poof base, which is her slub yarn. She has discontinued that in the soot colorway, and her floof base, which is her mohair silk, in the winter deep colorway. And I ran out of yarn, so I contacted Lisa, and she's like, I don't have poof anymore, but I have one in my stash that's in a lighter gray, and I can over dye it for you. She's an amazing human being and a good friend of mine, and she came to my rescue. So she is getting me a skein of each dyed up and out to me, but it won't be till probably the beginning of the new year before I get it. So this project's on hold as I am out of yarn. But here it is. So I don't know if you can see from my ends here. The slub yarn is a gray, is a light gray. And then the mohair is like a red, blue, green mottled variegated. And so I'm holding the two together. I personally, if I'm going to use mohair, I enjoy using mohair with a different color. So I like using like a solid colored fingering, and then like a completely different colored mohair so that the mohair really sings and you can see that subtle color and the variation there. This is my first time knitting with slub yarn, and it does take some getting used to. But yeah, so you can see the pattern here. It's just stockinette and garter with some double yarn over details there, but I have a little bit more to go and I am out of yarn. And I was like, well, I can just bind off, it'd be fine. But I'm like, I kind of want a big honkin' shawl. So why? I don't know. I'm not going to wear it, but I find that they're more useful to those who wear when they're a little bit bigger. So when I get more of this yarn in, it will be back in the active rotation. This is on a 40 or 47 inch needle, and it's pretty scrunched on there, so should be a nice big shawl when it's done. So that's on hold, but was going since we've seen each other. Now I have all these ends sticking out of my bag. This is going to be a hot mess when I come back to it. Oh, alas, whatever. All right, that's been my day. Whatever. Just, I'm over it. All right, then I started a new project when I was out of that, and I used my random number generator on my stash as I want to do to pick my next project, and it picked some Sodar jewel spun that I picked up at Starstruck Cat Yarn Studio in Indianapolis, a suburb of Indianapolis. They are now closed, but we were doing trunk shows there for a while, so I had picked up 2 skeins of this yarn, and this one is in the color Setting Sun, and this is in Midnight Fjords, and I'm doing a chevron baby blanket called the Shaded Chevrons Baby Blanket by Yarnspirations Design Studio. I'm not using their yarn, but it calls for an Aran weight, and these are 2 200-gram balls, so essentially it's 4 full skeins of yarn, and you're just doing 4-row chevron stripes. So I started it at our crafternoon on Saturday, and here we are. So it's going to be a subtle striping. They're not as contrasty as one would hope, and I'm just barely in it, but I did put stitch markers in, even though I think they're going to have to move because I was kind of getting off kilter at some point, so I'm trying to stay on track. It's not really going to matter. Do I have a baby this is intended for? No, it'll just, I don't know, knitting to knit. So there's that. That's on the needles, and this is on a size 8 US, which is a 5mm needle. Once you find the rhythm, it'll be pretty mindless, but until then, getting up, talking, dealing with customers, dyeing yarn. The last thing I'm working on is the Abbey shawl collar cardigan, and I'm doing this as a sample for the store. This is out of another commercial yarn that we carry from Harrisville Designs. It's their Turbine, their bulky woolen spun yarn, so it's got a lot of loft, a lot of air in it. And last night I worked on this, and I bound off the body, so I have to pick up and just bind off the sleeves. It's a short sleeve shawl collared sweater, and then I have to pick up and do the shawl collar. So here it is thus far. Here's the back of it. And this is again in the Harrisfield Designs Turbine using their driftwood color. And I'm using a size 13 US, which is a 9mm needle. It goes super quick. And I believe I'm knitting the 47.5-inch bust. I thought that might fit my sister pretty well if she likes this. And did some ribbing, bound off. Again, you like pick up and then bind off purlwise, and then I have to pick up all the stitches around the front and back and do a bunch of short rowing and things like that. So that's how that's going. So this has been a really quick knit and not much to talk about other than I can't work on it very long, and because it's big needles, big yarn, my hands aren't used to it. And so I work on it a little bit here and there, and it's going pretty quickly. So that is all that I've been working on these past 3 weeks, but I'll continue to work on those and make some good progress here in the coming weeks. In rehearsal, I will be casting on a new pair of socks once those ones are done. And these next pair were supposed to be for me, but the yarn that my random number generator picked was yarn specifically purchased for Andy. It's his colors, so he's getting another pair of socks. But this is from Lollipop Yarns. It is her Moon Dance colorway. It comes with a full skein of self-striping, 10 Rose Moonlight, 10 Rose Magic, 4 Rose Harvest. And then a mini me in Harvest. It is a 25-gram mini skein. So it's like a dark gray, medium gray, and orange. So these will be getting cast on here soon. All right, let's move into behind the scenes, my spinning. I did finally finish the first 2 ounces of my CJ Kopek Creations Superwash Merino in the Gypsy Girl colorway. I'm doing a 2-ply fractal spin on this. So I am about a third of the way through the second 2 ounces. So that's going. There we go. Had to get the bobbin back on. All right, let's move into in the scene shop then. What else have I been crafting on? I did do a lot of work on my cross-stitch project yesterday. That is the Modern Folk Embroidery 2021 stitch along called Fruits of Plenty. And guess what, y'all? I'm pretty sure I'm done with January's piece. Now, when he released December, the final piece, he released a digital version that is able to be used with Pattern Keeper, which is an excellent cross-stitching app that allows you to zoom in, select specified symbols, and mark off and keep track of your progress on a digital copy of the pattern. It also tells you like the percentage of the whole entire project you have done, which I may or may not even be at 8% complete. And it tells you now, with the last update that it did, how many stitches you do in a day and how much progress you're making and how long it'll take you to get done. I think I did just under 400 stitches yesterday, which for me is a lot. So this is being stitched 2/2 full cross on 36 count, 36? 32 count Tycho Belfast linen by Picture This Plus, and I'm using 2 different shades of blue from DMC. So you can see there, that's pretty much all of January. So then I have February, March, and then it goes 3 across, 4 deep. It's a big one project, and that's all I have in almost 9 months. But slow and steady wins the race, right? So I finished off down here yesterday, and I worked up over in here. And yeah, a lot less mistakes happening now using Pattern Keeper. So that's good. And I'm really enjoying it. And then last but not least, let me show you my Fox latch hook. This is a Hirschner's kit. I didn't get much done on it, but I got a little bit done. So this is Fox in the Moonlight. You can see I got a good portion of I got his tail done. I'm now in the body, and now I'm moving across out into the moonlight and the falling autumnal leaves. So there's that. Okie dokie. What have we been watching? Andy and I have been watching some TV, which is always good to spend time with him. Trying to get this thing not to fall. There we go. All right. So we finished. I watched a movie called The Classic Horror Story on Netflix. It is an Italian film. It is dubbed over. I didn't think it was horrible. It's a good, don't really care what's on, but you want something kind of dark, creepy. I also watched You, season 1. I believe this was started on Lifetime and then Netflix picked it up. I enjoyed it, but I had to give it a break because it's a lot of drama. It deals with a man who kind of becomes fascinated with a woman, and he is essentially a stalker and just a stalker, and how he navigates himself meeting and getting into a relationship with her and goes on from there. But I did finish season 1. There are 3 seasons out, and I know there's a 4th coming, but again, I needed a break from it after binging it for a whole season. I then started Lock and Key. I watched all of season 1. I'm in season 2 right now. If you need a family-friendly kind of dark magic, but still good for the kids, there's not really many swear words, and the ones that they have can be set on normal TV, then I would check out Lock and Key on Netflix. It's spelled Locke. It deals with a family who has recently lost their dad, and they move into his ancestral home, which is this huge mansion, and the kids soon realize that there are magical keys hidden around the house that give you certain powers, but yet with those powers comes the dark side of magic, and so I'm enjoying that. Andy and I then watched Blown Away, the Christmas special. This was a quick 4-episode Christmas special dealing with glass blowing, and they brought in some of the former contestants to compete, and it has its goods and bads. I didn't care for everybody's work, and I didn't believe that some people should have went on than others, but I'm not a judge, so I just judge from the couch. But yeah, so that's a quick one, but I definitely do like Blown Away. And then we just finished last night the latest season of The Great British Baking Show, again on Netflix. I did not agree with the winner, but again, I'm judging from the couch, or in that instance, from the dining room table, because we watched it while we had dinner. And yeah, but we enjoy those lighthearted reality shows for dinner and like a quick end the night. Don't want to commit to a full drama-riddled episode of something. So that's what we've been watching. Let's move into stash enhancement. I have a lot. Now, most of this is from still SAF, which is at the end of October. And then moving into some online purchases that I did. All right. First up, I got some fiber from Spotted Circus. This is Merino and Firestar, 4 ounces in the Moonshine color, which I'm pretty sure is just natural. But it has a rainbow Firestar in it. And I picked this up to go with some Shirsty Cat that I must have put away already. But I picked up a different fiber from Shirsty Cat, and I was going to do an 8-ounce big spin and have 1 ply of this along with some of her Firestar fiber. I also then picked up some fiber from Apothecary Fabrications. who is fairy. She's a wonderful human being. And this is in the colorway Nisi. It's 100% fine merino wool. And it was just calling to me. I was catching up with her in her booth, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to get it. So I did. So more fiber, because, I'm spinning so much these days. I then picked up a yarn pack from Whimsy Stitches. This is a set of 6 50-gram fingering weight skeins in his Bear Pride collection. Bear is a subculture in the gay community. If you don't know what it is, then you can look it up and educate yourself. But I will tell you that I fall into that category. So this was suiting for me. It's suiting for Rick, who is also a member of the same community. But when I saw this, Lisa Ross's Coming Together shawl had just come out. This was right after Rhinebeck. And while we sell kits for that in our own store, I picked this up to do the Coming Together shawl because it uses 6 half skeins of yarn. So I purchased this from Rick at Whimsy Stitches. He's an awesome guy based out of New Orleans, and you should definitely check out his yarn and bags, which we do have some of his bags in our store currently that I picked up at SAF. So, excuse me. I then got to catch up with Robin's Promise Yarn Co. And I picked up a set of 10 mini skeins from her. This is in the Fallen Maple Leaves color. And I picked out an Amber O'Brien shawl, I believe, to do out of these. I don't know, that may change, but I believe that's what I picked up. So you can see all those beautiful autumnal colors. And, when I was at SAF in North Carolina at the end of October, fall, we're now in winter pretty much. So, in fact, is tomorrow the first day of winter? Or is it today? It has gotten chilly here. We did have like almost 70-degree weather last week, and then it dropped out real quick. So this is from Robin's Promise Yarn Co. She also owns her own yarn store. Then I got 2 skeins. These are the last 2 months of Barnyard Knits. She does a discounted yarn, a new color every month, and one is discounted and one's more expensive. I always get the discounted ones. This one is Lakeside. This was November's colorway of the month. And then this one is London Fog, which was December's. And she's really been on the ball the last 2 months of getting these dyed out and shipped out in a really expedient manner. So I have a bunch of her yarn that I don't, that I collect, and I don't have any projects planned for. So when I find a project that I really want to do, I'm going to go to my stash of Barnyard Knits. They're all on her 75-25 superwash merino nylon base. So it'll go along with things from our store, other indie dyers, things like that. All right. Also at SAF, I picked up a skein of 50 Shades of Gradient from the Fiber Studio. This is in the colorway SAF 21. And they had a shawl knit up that I've queued that will use one of these gradients. It is 100% superwash merino, 560 yards to 113 grams. So they had the sample knit up. I was like, ooh, that's pretty. Look at it. And then I was looking over some of the coupon codes that were generously donated to the Knitting at the Estate retreat. I was finally going through my goodie bag like a month and a half after our retreat, 2 months after our retreat. And there were some coupon codes still good. So I decided to support some of those people that generously donated to our retreat. So I picked up a skein from Louisiana Yarn Guys. This is in their Treme, I don't know, Shimmer DK, which is a 75% superwash merino, 20% nylon 5% silver stellina, DK weight, 231 yards in the colorway Nebula. And I believe I picked out a hat to do with this. And then I had another skein somewhere. I have too much yarn. Well, I don't know where the other one went. Yeah, I don't know. I got my Hello Yarn shipment for December. Nope, November. This is Meddling Little Things. It is 85% Polworth wool, 15% Tussle silk. Have I spun any of hers that have been in the club? I need to probably cancel it soon, but... So there's that. And last but not least, I was able to nab Kirby Werby. I've never had her yarn. Heard about her for years. She opened a new store, moved her store to a new website. So I caught the update. And I've heard about this colorway for years. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to rock those socks. She's known for her self-striping. And this is her 20 stripe skein called Hells to the Yes. In her Old Faithful, which is a 75-25. 440 yards, and yeah. So it is like a rainbow with a gradient of grays in between each rainbow color. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to get it. So I'll pick that up from Kirby Werby. And I'm excited to eventually someday knit these up. All right, so that's all my stash enhancement, I believe. There's one skein missing that I have on the list that I can't find. I'm just hoping I put it away somewhere. So, what's that? No, I don't know what I did with it. Well, it's somewhere. I got too much yarn. So let's go into a round of applause. First, let's do this episode's giveaway. So this episode, we're going to be giving away another skein of Canon Hand Dyes Emily Singles. This is from the Harry Potter Club, September 2015. This was donated by a generous viewer of the podcast. And this is in the colorway I Am With You. This is 100% superwash merino, 400 yards of a fingering weight, and it is a very soft blue-gray. So to be entered to win this game, you must go on over to Ravelry, be a member of the Dramatic Knits Ravelry podcast group, and find the appropriate thread. It says Emily Singles Giveaway Take 2, and you must be a member of the group. Post one post per person, and you must answer the prompt. The prompt for this episode is, in 40 years, what will people be nostalgic for? So time travel 40 years in the future and think about, in 40 years, what do you think you or people in 40 years are going to be nostalgic for? What are they going to be like, oh, what is that? When I first read this question, it made me think of one of the episodes of Lock and Key that I was watching. So they were going through this like old basement room back from like the 80s. 80s, 90s probably. And there's a little kid and his uncle, and the uncle's going through, he's like, oh, look at all these, da-da-da-da-da. It's your dad's taste in music. And he goes, oh, what are those? And they were cassette tapes. And he goes, you really don't know what these are? He's like, oh, is that what they call iPods? And he's like, yeah, because the kid's like 8. Yeah. Anyway, so again, head on over to the Ravelry group to enter to win for that. Last episode, we were giving another skein of the same base away. This one was in the No One Is More Deadly Than the Basilisk colorway, again from the Harry Potter Club. And the prompt was, what's the most ridiculous fact you know? Random number generator selected number 25, who is knitting dancer. That's Teresa from Alabama. And Teresa said the most ridiculous fact she knows is that a jiffy is an actual measurement of time. So like when you say, I'll be back in a jiffy, jiffy is a legit measurement of time, according to Teresa. I didn't fact check that. But I enjoyed so many of your random facts. That one may come back again because I learned a couple of new things from that. So congratulations to Teresa. Teresa, please send me a direct message on Ravelry with your first and last name, mailing address, and your email address so you can get tracking, and I will send this out to you as soon as possible. All right. Last section, center stage. Let's talk about things going on in the world of leading men fiber arts. So, reminder, if you're local, come on out. Every Wednesday, we have craft night from 5 to 8, and every Saturday, we have crafternoon from 1 to 4. Anybody is welcome. You can bring whatever craft you want. You do not have to bring materials that you purchased from our store to work on there. We want to encourage anybody to come with whatever they're working on and just be part of the community. So if you're local, we hope you'll make it out whenever you can. We're always there ready to welcome you and have you be part of our community. Okay, let's talk about a few new things in the shop. Today I focused all on new craft kits. The first one is knitting, but it's a new kit that I picked up. Great for a quick holiday gift knit, but we've only sold 2, and I think we have we sold 1, and we have 5 left, I think. But I picked up these Prairie Creek pocket scarf kits from Louisa Harding, using her Enorme base. And it is a super bulky. You get 3 200-gram skeins of her Enorme. This one is in this colorway. I got one of every color that they did. And it's kind of this loosely plied. It's like roving with a thread plied. And the pattern comes with, it's a brioche pattern, but we have somebody in our store that's just doing a twisted rib scarf, and she is loving it. It is a hefty scarf. It is weighty, but it looks so cool, and she is loving every minute of it. So we have a couple of kits of these available. I have these linked in the show notes, which can be found at dramaticknits.com, and each kit comes with 3 skeins of yarn, the pattern, the cute tote bag, as well as a sticker on the inside. So that's the first thing. Next up, I brought, these are some embroidery kits from You Can Stitch It. And this one is a Dolly Parton embroidery kit. It says, find out who you are and do it on purpose. So it comes with everything you need for the embroidery kit, including the hoop. And there's lots of little different ones. There's one from Schitt's Creek, a very tiny small one that says, ew, David. And then there's a couple of other funny ones that I've got. So I thought I'd show that to you. But I think everyone's got Dolly Parton in their heart, really. So next up, we got a bunch of kits from Corinne Lapierre from the UK. These are wool felt hand sewing and applique kits. And we've got a range of them, small, medium, and larger ones. I brought this small one because I got a multiple of these ones. While I'm not a cat person, I'm more of a dog person. I thought you all would love this. This is Mrs. Cat Loves Knitting, and it comes with everything you need except scissors. So it comes with all the wool felt, all of the embroidery floss, the stuffing, the needle, a stitch guide, and a full-scale template to cut out your fabric. And there's a wide range of different kits that she carries that we brought in, and I will replenish them as needed. Next up, we got a bunch of rug hooking kits from small, medium, and extra large from Loop by Loop. This one is one of the small ones, but I thought you all would enjoy this. This is a rug hooking kit for 3 sheep ornaments. Or actually, no, I think this one makes 1. Yeah, this makes 1 2x4-inch ornament. And there's different colored wool in there. This one is silver, but it comes with everything you need except for... No, this one has a hoop. The other bigger ones do not. You have to purchase those separately, but... Always wanted to try rug hooking, still haven't given it a shot. Last but not least, I got in from the UK as well, from Oh So Beautiful. This is Bargello, and it's kind of a form of like cross stitch, but it's with elongated stitches rather than cross stitches. And these are all wall hangings. We did have a holiday one. Those are sold out, but we have 3 other variations. This one is the honeycomb pattern, but then there's like a pastel floral and a waterfall, I think. But these come with full skeins of the tapestry wool, the canvas cut to size, the tapestry needle, 2 wooden dowels, illustrated instructions, and the Bargello pattern. So everything you need. Then this is really what I wanted when I opened the store, and I wanted to become a craft store, like more than just our yarn, more than just a yarn store. I wanted people to come in and find different crafts that, you know, Bargello, I guess, was really big in the 60s and 70s, and it's making a comeback, and I wanted people to grab something small. That's not a huge investment. You don't have to buy all these tools and things, and you can try it out, and if you don't like it, it's not a huge investment. But if you do, then you can make the decision to invest in other materials and things like that. So we have a lot of grab-and-go craft kits. And we'll be expanding as we can. But again, our store is very small. And we have a lot in there. And I pretty much have... I don't want it to get any more cluttered than it is. So we have to sell some things before I can bring in new things. So check out the Bargello kits. All of these things will be linked to in our show notes, which again is at dramaticknits.com. All right, don't forget we always have a multitude, about 3 running concurrently, different make-alongs going on in the Leading Men Fiber Arts Ravelry group. So if you are not part of that group, hop on over to Ravelry, go over there, check out all the knit-alongs and make-alongs that we have going on. Currently, we always end one and start one every month, so we always have 3 going at one time. All the knit-alongs or make-alongs run for 3 months, and we always give you a coupon code in every make-along for the yarn used in the pattern, as well as we give away prizes to the people who finish, usually a gift certificate or 2 to the online store. So we hope you'll join the virtual community over there. We have no upcoming shows. We are so excited to be staying home for the next couple of months. I don't believe we have anything on the docket till sometime in March, and I couldn't even tell you what that is at this point. I'm not even looking that far ahead. But I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in today, whenever you're watching this. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment if you're watching on YouTube in the comment section. Again, I would always greatly appreciate if you click the subscribe and hit the thumbs up button. And again, you can find us on Ravelry, the Dramatic Knits video podcast group, as well as the Leading Men Fiber Arts group. You can find me on Instagram as Leading Men Fiber Arts and Ravelry as Dramatic Knits. So, until I see you in a couple of weeks, I hope you make something dramatic.